We like to have adventurous men, intelligent men, fit men, and I think we like to have men with a marked personality of their own, and I think that's what we get.
Now you're drifting forwards, reach high on your back lift webs now. Feet and knees tight together, don't look over your shoulder, man, hold that.
Push. All right, fancy time. You push the man hard. Go.
Just outside Oxford, 1,000 feet up in the air, a dozen men step through a couple of aeroplane doors. Why is it these men are prepared to hang for 25 seconds in a sort of void, halfway between heaven and hell? A unique experience only parachutists know. Why is it that sensible men want to do this? Or why is it that just occasionally a trained man will refuse to jump? If a man's going to jib, he's most likely to show it here, 40 feet up in the hangar, right at the start of training. The parachute school at Abingdon in Berkshire. Every year, 30,000 men come here to learn the basic techniques of flying through the air on the end of a few strands of nylon and landing without injury. All parachutists are volunteers, and the majority at Abingdon, an RAF-run base, come from the 3 regiments of the 16th Parachute Brigade at Aldershot. So high are the standards required that as many as 40% of the volunteers are rejected before they even arrive at Abingdon. Commanding 16 Brigade, Brigadier Farrah Hockley. He made his first jump at 19, 24 years ago. He fought with the Gloucesters in Korea, and his book, The Edge of the Sword, became a bestseller. What sort of men is the Brigadier looking for?
We like to have adventurous men, intelligent men, fit men, and I think we like to have men with a marked personality of their own, and I think that's what we get.
Is there a problem combining individualism in your men with fairly tough discipline?
I think there's a slightly different application of discipline, though I wouldn't like to overemphasize that. Discipline in the army is a requirement for everybody, and we must subscribe to it in the same way as anybody else.
Are you happy with your methods of selecting people who want to be parachutists? Are you sure that you're not getting people who want to do it for the wrong reasons?
Of course, we do get people who try to get in for the wrong reasons. We have a very careful selection system, and a large number of people are weeded out, either because they themselves don't want to go on with it, not so many of those, more often people that we feel should not go on with it. And this applies right through the man's initial jumping training, when any time, up to and including his 8th jump, he can say, or his instructors can say, we won't go on with this. There's no ostracism of the man, there's no reflection on him, he's quietly and privately sent off to another unit, and the matter's forgotten.
What do these adventurous men themselves see in parachuting? 3 men from the 1st Parachute Battalion told us how they felt about their initial training jump. First, an experienced sergeant.
Very scared. But when you do it at Abingdon, they go from one sort of test to another and they kind of build you up to it. You're not suddenly just sort of thrown in there. And at the same time, the instructors, the RAF instructors, are very good and they're building up your confidence all the time.
Well, you're built up to it. I was nervous in the first jump from the balloon. But as I say, they were built up to it.
Everybody's nervous. There were little things. People don't like landing. Some people don't like going out the door.
How about when you went up in this balloon?
I knew exactly what to expect.
The men go up in the balloon cage in sticks of 4 or 5. Everyone is tense before their first real descent, and most men find it more unnerving to parachute from a swaying balloon than from an aircraft. But the silence and calm of a balloon drop means that instructor and trainee have all the time in the world to sort out any problems before a jump. The report an instructor likes to make on a man is nervous but controlled. It's an 800-foot drop. Only after 2 balloon jumps can you drop from a plane.
All-round observation now. All-round observation now. Now you're drifting forwards. You're drifting forwards. Reach high on your back lift webs now. And pull them down. Pull down strongly. Good. Now check your parachuting position. Legs back underneath you. Now get them back. Back from the hip. And straighten them out a bit more. Right, hold that good position. Feet and knees tight together. Don't look over your shoulder, man. Hold that.
How did you actually feel in the balloon just before you stepped out?
Very scared. You knew that you had to go, really, but the fact that it was blowing about didn't make it easier.
Did you ever consider refusing?
No, I don't think so. Maybe I was more scared of refusing than of jumping.
The men court-martial last week refused to fit their parachutes for Operation Lifeline, in which 1,500 men dropped in a major combined forces exercise last April. Because of the weather, the operation had been postponed more than once. When it did get underway, there were some bumpy landings. But paratroops expect this. Why then do some occasionally jib? Is it just the difference between courage and cowardice?
It's difficult to be precise about this because of everybody's has an individual reaction to it. You might equate it in some senses to men who do boxing. I myself used to box, and every time I got into the ring, I used to ask myself why on earth I was doing it. And yet, in a way, I enjoyed it, and after it was over, I enjoyed it. And I think this is analogous to parachuting. People find it a challenge, as well as it happening to be a very useful method of distributing soldiers about the battlefield. And I think that this challenge is something that the type of man we get wants to meet.
Most people would accept, I think, that once a man is trained, a refusal to jump should be an offence. But a sentence of 84 days seems pretty harsh.
Well, it is severe in a sense, although not severe when you relate it to various sentences of relating to other offences. But the thing is that there must be a sanction that applies to all officers and men who have, with their eyes open, gone in for this thing, had every opportunity at various stages to give it up without any form of punishment, and having embarked on it and spent the taxpayers' money in their training and so on, then there must be a sanction which says you must go on. And for those occasions when people feel a bit less like parachuting, that sanction helps them over the hurdle.
Do you think your men get enough opportunity to jump once they're trained?
Well, of course, speaking personally, my own view as the brigade commander is that I'd like everybody to jump about 4 times a week. Then there would be a great deal more expertise in our jumping than there is now. But there are many factors against that. I saw the other day a reference to the lack of aircraft, but on the whole, weather is a very big factor, and between November and about March, the incidence of jumping goes down a great deal. Of course, there are weather conditions that in operations we would take in our stride, but in peacetime training, there is a limit to the weather conditions the RAF will fly in, quite rightly, and that we will drop in.
But don't, you say perhaps a minimum of 4 jumps a year. This doesn't seem an awful lot. Doesn't this perhaps encourage people to worry unnecessarily about jumping?
I don't think so. I think if you did 1 a week, you'd still feel exactly the same.
I did when I just finished a tour in Bahrain of a year. I didn't do a lot of parachuting then. And when I came home, I went straight on the Lifeline exercise. And it does make a lot of difference to me if I haven't done a jump for a long time.
How do you feel about people who do refuse to jump?
Well, they're really... I mean, they're not regarded as cowards, they've all got their own reasons.
Does it affect you in any way, or your own feelings about jumping?
No. You think, oh, that chap must want to get out, something like that. He's got a reason for not doing it, and that's it.
You don't think people refuse to jump just because they're frightened of jumping?
No, I don't think so.
They usually have other reasons.
It's maybe he's got a lot on his mind or something like that.
Well, I don't think people in the brigade really think an awful lot about it. I mean, we had these two refuse, well, they've refused. I don't think we talk about it an awful lot. And I don't think we get the impression that they're cowards.
I mean, you say you don't talk about it. Is that because you're a bit ashamed of it from the regiment's point of view?
Not at all, no.
It's just something you accept?
It's just something to accept, yeah.
Well, they must have their own reasons, strong reasons, to refuse at this stage. But I don't think really I'm in a position to comment on how they do feel.
It doesn't worry you, then?
No, don't think so.
What about this exercise tonight? What do you think about that?
Well, it is a very long exercise, so it should be okay.
Check equipment!
One man lost his life on last night's exercise, but accidents are rare. So too are refusals. But is it significant that there have been 3 refusal incidents within the last year?
I don't think so. There was a death last year. This may have been a factor. But then I've been parachuting since 1942, when almost time airborne forces were formed. And it's a curious thing that you go for a longish period without a refusal, and then you might get 2 or 3, you might even get half a dozen. I can recall 1 or 2 periods like that. It is very difficult to pin down what it actually is. I know that when I've spoken to men who have refused and have been punished and so on, one bears no ill will, and one says, why did you do this? Why didn't you come forward? Most of them say, either I thought I could get over it, or I didn't like to tell anybody. There's a very big factor of pride, personal pride involved here. One's prestige amongst one's comrades, what one owes to oneself and so on. That's this business of meeting the challenge.
You don't think the pressures in the brigade are so strong that they prevent people coming forward?
Well, I don't think that, and if they are, then I ought to be sacked.
There are no pressures at all on these men to jump. They're the Falcons, the free-fall display team of RAF experts who look on the whole thing as a sport, who jump for the pleasure of jumping. To them, it's all as simple as falling off a 2-ton truck. But for most military parachutists, it's business before pleasure. The technique of getting troops to the right place at the right time and of training them to do exactly that.
How do you feel? Fine. I'm just great. It's the first time I've ever done it, and I think it's marvelous.
You'd really be happy to do it again right away?
I am training to be a parachute jumping instructor, and I think I will do it, yes, and I think it's great.
Were you nervous
class.
before you actually stepped down?
No, I wasn't. Not at all. I was quite used to heights, but it's just apprehension, nothing else. I have full confidence in the equipment.
Was it exactly what you expected?
Near enough, yes. The training led up to it all, and I thought it was just what they have told me. I did exactly what they said. Everything clicked into place, and it just went just fine, first class.